Okay, so quick introductions. If we haven't met you before at a previous session, it's nice to see you now, or it's nice to see you again. My name is Zareen Levien. I'm the Education Marketing Manager here at Padlet. I've been here for about a year and a half, and before that I was a teacher and a digital learning coach here in San Francisco, and I worked with all different ages using technology for creativity, for engagement, for collaboration. These are some of my old students in my room working on a project together on their iPads. So I've used Padlet with students. I've used similar tools like Google Jamboard and lots of other great tools that are out there. But I hope to share today with you some ideas for how you might use Padlet Sandbox with your students. Some of them are easy to get started and some of them will be more involved projects. But my hope for you today is that you walk away with one idea that you can take into your classroom and try out soon. And I also have with me Julia Carnes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia. I'm the product marketing manager at Padlet. I've been around for almost 5 years, which includes all the time that Sandbox has even existed. It's only actually about a year old. So it's pretty amazing how much it's changed in the last year. And I'm excited to see how Zareen brings it all together and share some takeaways for you today.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, we like to launch lots of new things at Padlet. So I'm excited to show it to you and see what ideas you all have as well. So I'll do a little bit of getting started and framing and show you around where Sandbox is, and then share some examples that we can play on together. And then, as usual, I'll share some resources at the end if you want to go deeper and learn more. This is a 30-minute session, so it always goes by quickly. But hopefully, if you have any questions, you can ask those in the Q&A or give us some comments in the chat as we go along here. Okay, so my first question for you all, I'm going to put our resource board in the chat. It's also in the handout section. So if you want to come join me on this Padlet, I have a poll for you. It's just a little bit into the board here. If you want to participate on here and let us know if you are new to Sandbox, if you maybe tried it before, or if you've used it a lot, or if you're just getting started with it. And that'll help me know what our experience level is. So as you do that, I'll show you that this is a Padlet board that I'm on right now. And on a Padlet board, if I come to the plus sign, I can add all different kinds of attachments. One of those attachments is a poll. This is something you can do on your Padlets as well as you get to know students or want to get feedback from them on what they already know or what their preferences are. It's easy to add polls here. And I can click on show results here. As people vote, it will continue to update. So I'll kind of see these percentages. Looks like in this group, we have a little bit more folks who have used it more. So that's great. I'll go a little deeper into some things, but great if you are new to it as well. We'll kind of cover the range of for new folks and for more advanced folks. All right. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe that handout thing is not set up correctly, but here is the link to today's resources if you are looking for that as well. Okay, so for those who are newer to Padlet Sandbox, I'll just show you, if you come to padlet.com, anyone can make a free account and you can make up to 3 Padlets. And those Padlets can include either boards, like the one I'm on right here, or sandboxes. And sandboxes is just another format of a Padlet, but they look a little bit different than boards. So Padlet Sandbox is a whiteboard. So it just has this open canvas. And you can see it also has multiple cards or slides or pages over here on the left-hand side. So I have multiple pages I can use. I can make up to 20 on the free accounts. So you could make 3 sandboxes for free with 20 pages or cards each and really get to play around with it more. And if you decide you want more, you can always look at our subscriptions. But I really encourage everyone to get a free account if you don't have one already and just start playing. Sandboxes have all these tools over here. If you've used other whiteboards like Google Jamboard or others, you'll find these tools and capabilities very familiar. You can have Post-it notes like this for a brainstorming discussion. You can write text right here on the board. You have different shapes. One of my favorites is the speech bubble, and then you can write in here any text. So very flexible, and you can design collages or brainstorming boards or different structures if you have a format or a graphic organizer you want to put in here. And one thing that's special about Padlet Sandbox, if I look at the more options here, and we'll play with this in just a minute, you have all of these attachment types that you have on regular Padlet as well. So if you want to add an image in here, you can search for something. Or if you want to add a video, or if you want to record your voice, all of those options are available to you. All right, so that's a quick intro to Padlet Sandbox. Next, I'd love for us to try it. So here is a blank board, a blank sandbox, I should say. So if you want to join me on this sandbox, my question for you today is, what's on your bucket list? So if there's a place you want to travel to or something you want to learn to do, you can use any of these tools here on the right-hand side to respond. You can respond with text or with images. So I'm going to make a Post-it note and say, I would love to learn to play the bass. I always want to do that. And one of these days I'll get around to it. And then maybe I'll come over here and add attachment. Let's see, bass guitar. I'll search for an image, or maybe there's a fun GIF in here. Okay, here we go. And you'll see those will kind of, as you add images or different things, it'll drop onto the page. It might drop on top of somebody's things, but you can always move it around to get more space. You won't be able to delete anybody else's contributions, which is great for students. You won't accidentally delete or mess up anybody else's work. Yeah, I see a lot of travelers in here. That's great. You can, I was mentioning before, you can also make multiple cards. So if you want to put students in groups to answer a question, or if you have multiple parts of your lesson, you want to divide them up on different cards, you can do that. Ooh, some dancing, that looks great. If right now, if you feel like you're getting crowded and want more space, you can click over here on the left to that second card and have some more space to add more things. I also encourage you to add more than one thing. If you want to try out some different attachments, I see some people already adding some images and different things. Feel free to experiment and add more things to imagine how this might work in your classroom. Oh, I see some language learning. Oh, that's a great idea too. Become a farmer. Nice. Traveling to California. I feel like we should do some exchanges with some of you out there. You can come to California and we can go to all the places you're calling in from. That would be a great world tour. So a Padlet like this, a sandbox, is an easy thing to do with your students. You could do this tomorrow or today even. If you want to have a Padlet sandbox like this, ask a simple question like, what's on your bucket list? Or what are you excited to learn this year? Or what's your favorite superpower? You could ask any kind of opening question and have students come and participate on here. So if I wanted to make a Padlet just like this, I could come to padlet.com and log into my account or make an account. I could click on blank sandbox and just ask my question here as the title. So I could come in here to settings and ask my question. What's your favorite food, for example? And then I could share this link with students. So I could share this link right at the top of my browser, or I could come to the share arrow. And I have a few more options here. I can check, first of all, that my visitor permissions are set to writer so that I can see everything, so that students can participate on here. And then I can also get a QR code. If students are using a cell phone or a tablet to join onto my Padlet sandbox right here. Okay, so that gives you a quick intro, and you've all kind of jumped in there to see, wow, is this still going? This looks great. Some people have tried some audio recordings. You can do video recordings. The great thing about those recordings is the tool is built right into Padlet, so you don't have to go to another tool, record and download and upload. It's very straightforward to record right there in a sandbox. Okay, let me take you into some other examples now. So I was mentioning it's fun for lots of different kinds of openers. So I was sharing this earlier. You could make a Padlet Venn diagram. So in these, if I were making a new one, actually, let me show you somewhere else. If I were coming to Padlet.com and I was making a new sandbox here, I can start from a template. So that'll pop up on the bottom when you make a new sandbox. And one of the first ones here is a Venn diagram, which is one of my favorites. So many fun things you can do with Venn diagrams. And so I have examples here. Julia made a lot of fun Venn diagrams for us at some previous conferences. I'll put this in the chat if you want to explore along with me. So a Venn diagram could be a fun opener with a partner, for example. So Julia and I could write the things that we have in common. We could put in recordings there or images, and then we could say what's different about us. You're going to learn some things about, let's see, many siblings. So you could write in the different things that you love and have in common with a partner or a group. And then you could just make some other fun Venn diagrams. So here's apple and oranges. You could have it be about the topic that you're studying, whatever subject you're teaching. And so we just have some, and they could just be more funny examples like bananas and banana slugs, what they have in common, what they have that are different. So here are a bunch of examples to explore, but feel free to make your own, either in a partner group or for the whole class to participate about something you're studying. Okay, so that's some Venn diagrams. Another thing that I've seen a few teachers do is, I'm not sure if people are familiar with these Project Zero thinking routines. This is something that we used in my old district. There's a lot of fun strategies for making thinking visible. So you can explore this site. This is not a Padlet site. This is from Harvard, but they have some different kind of core thinking routines like think, pair, share, or I used to think, now I think, see, think, wonder. And I bring this up because a lot of these can be done very easily on Padlet Sandbox. So I'll come back to my original page here. If I'm starting from a template, we have some of these things already built in our template options. So I can scroll down here. I have some different activities, like a question of the day. Would you rather? Here's a think, pair, share. If I go down lower, I have see, think, wonder, KWL chart. And if I choose any of these, I can still edit this. So this just gets me started. And then I can come here. Maybe I want to change the color. Maybe I want to add more description about the text here. I can put more info or more specific questions based on what we're studying. So the hope is that we have these templates that'll help you build things quickly, but it's also fully customizable for your own projects and your own work. Okay, so the next one I want to share with you is actually another template that we have that's an all about me template. So same thing, when I make a new sandbox or I make a new card, I can start from a template. And I can come in here. One thing that I used to do with my students is just like a collage about themselves. So you could use our built-in template here that's all about me, or you could change some of these. So instead of birthday, if you want something else, my favorite movie, whatever you want to ask students, or you could have them make up their own categories to fill in these different boxes. You could also make a more open-ended one. So here's one that I have linked. I could have an all about me collage here. I'll put this one in the chat that has a few more ideas if you want to look at it yourself. So you could have an all about me collage. This might be more open-ended, maybe for older students. And you could just have some instructions here in a post-it, like add 3 pictures, add 2 hobbies, make a recording of voice, video, screen, or drawing, maybe add a favorite quote. You could even brainstorm that list with students about what you want them to share about themselves to get to know each other. And then there's a few different ways you could do this. You could have all of the students on one sandbox, and you could make a card for each student. So I could come down here and duplicate this card, and each student could be by themselves or with a partner. Or you could make a copy of this sandbox for each student. I see a question in the chat here where you want each student to be on a different card. Yes, great. So this is just what I was going to talk about. So in this activity, you could make a copy and say, okay, each student go on a different card, and then you could see each other's. Another way you could do it is if you want to start with a sandbox and give each student their own sandbox. We have a special way to share these with the sharing arrow right here. And actually, let me go to a fresh one so you kind of see more how this works. I'm going to come. So if I were going to make this activity for students, I would click on blank sandbox. I would either make my own, like I was just showing you with more open-ended, or I would use the template here. So now I have my template. And then if I want to have a copy for each student, I would click on the share arrow right here. And this is a special tool, the auto remake link. So sharing arrow and then the auto remake link. I would turn this on and then give this link to all my students. It's just a single link, but when they open up that link, it's going to make a new copy for them. So here's the link. It's making a copy of that just for me, and it's going to put my name in parentheses there. Yeah, great idea. I see in the chat they could write their names on each slide if it's for younger students, and then you just own the board. For students who are a little older, I'm going to put this remake link in the chat. So you can click on this and try it as well. It'll ask you to log in, and then it's going to make you your own copy of this with your name on it right here. So now there's a copy for everyone. As the teacher, I'm going to have a list of all those copies. Oh, whoops, got to get to the right one though. This often happens to me. I have many things open. Okay, here we go. So under my auto remake link, as people make copies of it, I'll be able to see a list of all those copies. So I can see here now I have all the students who have made copies of this one, and I can just go ahead and click into them. So I can click into Zareen, who made a copy of that, or any of my other students to see their work, but they all have their own area to make it. And then we could share out, or people could share with a partner. You could decide how you want to play that out during class. But that auto remake link is really useful. You can do that on any sandbox or any Padlet, and then everyone has their own assignment to use there. All right, the next thing I want to show you all is this example that I made with some materials from Stanford. So let's delete this here. So for this example, I took a PDF that was a design thinking exercise where students were asked to interview each other, to find out more about each other, write down their findings, define a problem statement. So there's this whole flow of this activity that was in a PDF. And typically this activity was done in person with a printed out paper, which is a great way to do it. There's lots of great things you might just want to do with paper and in person. However, if you wanted to turn any of those activities into a digital board like this, I'll put this one in the chat so you can look at it. You could bring that into a sandbox. So if I were going to do this to start from scratch, again, I would start on my make page. Let me come back here, and I would come to a blank sandbox. So here, I can put anything I want on this sandbox, and one nice way to build one is to bring in a file that I already have. So if I already have an image or a PDF, I have this on my desktop already. I'm going to drag this from my computer onto the board. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to drop it onto my sandbox. So you can do this with any image or PDF that you have. And now I have a digital copy that students can write on top of. But not only can they write on top of this, they can use all of these different multimedia tools. So if I come back to too many windows again. If I come back to the one that I have, which is around here somewhere, here it is. I could actually record this interview, for example. So I could take notes with my text tool. So I could write my notes here. The person really likes, I could make all my notes right here. And then I could also use all of my attachment types. So if I'm doing an interview, an audio recording might be really useful. So I can click on this attachment type. Again, that's built right into the board. I could hit record here. I could record some of our interview. And then when I'm done, I could save that attachment right here onto the board. So suddenly this activity that would be in person and on paper can become digital and multimedia. I can include images from something someone said or a link to a resource. And I could use all of these tools to really make a more rich documentation of the interview that I'm doing. So again, this could be with any activity that you have on paper. I was trying it with some different maps that I had or graphic organizers, drag it right in here and then use it as a background. And then it's suddenly a multimedia space. And it's also kind of shared and collected more easily. So you have it all in one place on Padlet for you. Okay, the next one I want to share is you can also make a whole slide deck in Padlet Sandbox. So remember how there's cards there on the left-hand side. So it looks a lot like a Google slide deck or a PowerPoint presentation. So you can use Sandbox in that way also. This next example shows how you could make this into a storybook. So this was an example that our designer put together. So it has some beautiful images here. You can also see at the top of Sandbox, there's two modes. There's a draw mode and a play mode. So the play mode is like a presentation mode. So you can see that there's different cards here on the left-hand side with a story that was written. You can also narrate the story. So you could record your voice or your video telling your own story or giving your presentation as part of these pages or cards. If I put them in play mode here, you can have these buttons to page through. This is our author here. So you can make a whole book here on Padlet Sandbox as well. And so that could be something that students make. You could make a template for them and have them copy it like we did in that last example, or it could be how you present your lesson to kind of take you step by step through some slides. And then one more example here to take us in a different direction are some games. So this is a Jeopardy game that Julia built for us a couple months ago. And again, I can be in play mode if I want to play the game, or draw mode. I'll show you kind of the back end here. I'll put this link into the chat if you want to poke around with it. And so right here, you can make different categories of questions with some pages that are questions and answers. And you can see these pages link, or these cards link together. So it's all kind of set up already in this game. But you might want to have some different topics or some different questions and answers. So I can use this remake link in the upper right. You can do this with any Padlet. You can make a copy of it. So I can click right here if I want to make my own Jeopardy game. So I can say my Jeopardy or my Jeopardy game. And then I can choose if I want to copy all the objects, or if it's something that I've used with students, I might just want to copy my own clean copy that just has the teacher objects in there. For this one, I'll copy all of them. And then I'll have my own copy of this Jeopardy game, and I can change all the text, and it becomes mine. But it's already kind of set up. The structure of it is set up. So now I can come here. I can change these categories, vocab, questions, however I want to kind of organize this. And I can change all these text in here. I'll show you one more too. For example, if you wanted to make your own copy of this bucket list, I could do the same thing, click on this remake button. And this time I maybe want to clear out the responses. Maybe I want to do this with my next class, and I don't want the responses still in there from my first class. So I'm going to click on admin only. And I'm going to remake this. And now it's going to give me a kind of a fresh, clean copy of this that I can use right away with my students. So anything I'm sharing today with you, feel free to make a copy of it. This has my responses on it since I put an example in there, but you can make your own copy and then share it out with students. Okay, one extra bonus thing that I wanted to share with you. Somebody mentioned this in the chat earlier. We have a brand new tool, and it's right up here at the top of Padlet called Padlet TA. So this is a different tool that allows you not to make Padlet boards or sandboxes, but allows you to make documents. And it's an AI-driven tool where you can choose and you can say, make me a lesson plan, and you can prompt it just like you would ChatGPT. But we have our own special model that we've built to create educational content. So there's a lot of great ones. One of my favorites is multiple choice quiz. So I can say, hey, I have this lesson or this standard, make me some quiz questions about this, and it'll make that all for me. The one I wanted to show you right now was a presentation. So it can build a whole presentation for me with images. So let's imagine I'm teaching some younger students. I saw some people mentioning younger students in the chat. And let's say I'm doing the frog life cycle. I can give a lot more context if I want. I can even upload a file if I have an existing lesson plan or more context. I can put in a specific standard that I want to cover. And now this is just going to take maybe 30 seconds to generate a whole slide deck for me. So it's going to give me some text. I told it first grade, so it's going to be pretty simple text. Images are going to load in here. It's going to give me some different options with these arrows that I can choose the image that I want. So it's going to give me some really beautiful images here. Sometimes I might need to page through the ones. This has some kids who are swimming, but I can always swap that out later if I want to. And what I wanted to show with this example, and actually let me put the link to Padlet TA in the chat if you want to try making. Padlet TA is all free. I see some appreciation for the matching game. There's some games in there too. But the cool thing that relates to Sandbox is I can export anything that I make. I can export to Google Documents, to PDF, and this one I can actually export to Padlet also. And it's going to take all of my slides and it's going to put them into a Sandbox, because Sandboxes can be slide decks also. But here I can use AI generation to give me that starting point. And now I have a Sandbox slide deck here that gets me started with my frog life cycle. And with all of these things, when we generate a template or a deck for you, I can still come back in here and change any of the text here. I'll put this in the chat too, so you see what I made. Let me just make sure the sharing settings are there. I'll put it in reader mode. But then I could even have students come in here and answer these questions right on here. So I could have them come in here and put in their answers, or put in their own images, or build another slide, or auto remake and make a copy, and then they annotate their own copy. So a lot of really fun options when you string some of these tools together. And TA is a little bit more advanced in terms of if you want to use AI and then export things. But I know we have some people who've already used Sandbox, so just wanted to share that extension really quickly with you all. Whew. Well, it's always, the time always goes by quickly. I want to have one more interactive Sandbox for you all to join me on. So my last question for you all is, what would you like to try? What's one takeaway from today's session? So if you want to come here on this Sandbox and let me know which of these things you want to try. So maybe you want to try the auto remake link, or maybe you want to try Padlet TA and generate some content, or make a game, or make a slideshow. Which one of these ideas was resonating with you? And which one do you think you want to take away and try in your classroom, maybe even this week or next week? All right, I'll give you a moment to try this out. I see a lot of people using the Post-it notes or the text tool. That's perfect. Some enthusiasm for Padlet TA and making games. Great. Venn diagrams are always fun. Storybooks. Yeah, there's a lot of back to school activities. While you're typing on there, I'm going to show you one more place to find some activities. We have a gallery page in Padlet, and we always try to put some examples here. This is an example for some fun community builders. You can see the example right here. So some of these use Sandbox and some of these use our regular Padlet boards. But if you're looking for some back to school activities, I'll put this in the chat. There's some fun examples with maps, with polls, with AI images. So encourage you to kind of check those out if you're looking for more ideas. All right, well, we are running out of time. So glad that you all came and joined us today. I'm going to put a few kind of closing links in the chat here. The first one I always like to share is to have some feedback. We always really appreciate your feedback, so would love for you to share that. I'm still slow at popping this out. Here we go. So I'm going to share this on the side as well. If you wouldn't mind giving us some quick feedback, please share if there's anything you would like to see at a future session, any questions you have, any ideas for features we could add to Padlet, please submit that feedback form. If you want to find out about more sessions coming up, we are having more sessions next Wednesday, and would love for your ideas, what you would like to see us cover in those sessions. We also have recordings of all our past sessions there. If you want to do some more learning on your own, we have some PD courses, and all of these are at the bottom of our resource page as well. So we have some more, we have some courses. You can get a certificate after you complete if you want to dig deeper into anything, into Padlet or into AI. If you have more questions or just want to say hello to us, email us at hello@padlet.com. We'd love to hear from you. Questions, examples, celebrations, anything you want to share with us. And do I have one last thing? Yes, I'll put our resource page back in the chat here, so you can go back and look at any of this at your own pace and make copies of this for your own use. Really glad that you came. I feel like I blasted through. Julia, anything else that you wanted to highlight from the questions? I see you've been answering them as we go.
No, I think that you answered everything. Yeah, thanks for all those fun examples.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Julia, for all your answers in the chat there. We hope to see you at a future session. Thanks for spending the time with us. And we will see you next time. All right, take care, everyone.